All right, everybody, welcome back to another recording of Pencil Leadership. Super excited you guys are here with us today. We're also trying out a new system, so bear with us if there are any bugs that we find. But we're super excited today to bring you a really fantastic guest. We're going to be talking about how to biohack, how to enhance our immune system. And so we actually have Dr. Wes Fox coming on the show. He's functional movement and high performance expert. So he's going to be bringing a lot of knowledge to you guys on how to biohack, how to enhance that immune system, especially with the time we're in now. So Dr. Fox.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you doing? Welcome to the show.
Great.
Awesome. Well, hey, I would love for you to share just a little bit about your story, what got you to doing what you're doing today, if you would.
Yeah, man. So I started off as a functional movement and medical expert in the brick and mortar, and we'd have people come and travel to us, and we had a huge running practice, and I loved helping clients. But I always got that one question was like, "Hey, can you help my mom? Can you help my sister? They're not in the state, they're over here." And so we finally got to a point in our practice where we wanted to be able to expand out and help everyone around the world as much as we could. And so we essentially took our practice online to drwesfox.com to start helping the everyday person in this technological age. And so, we're in the 21st century now. We should be able to help people from anywhere. And the old times are going into the doctor's office, getting an appointment and seeing them face to face. The new times are, hey, we can do everything virtually and I can get people better from all over the world. And I do that in a 5-step approach as far as figuring out what is going on with people and then optimizing their performance from there. That's just a short snippet.
No, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. I think it's cool that how you mentioned you took your practice online and now we're seeing everything basically going that way. And so I think that's really neat. So how long have you been online?
So we've been online for three years or 4 years now, almost.
Okay.
We saw this coming as far as not the pandemic, but
right.
With technology, we're like, everything's got to have to go online if we're going to keep going into the future. And it's like my job has to go online eventually. Right. Because people are now getting to the point where they're like, I don't want to go into this place because I got to get a babysitter and I got to go after work. And it's like, how can I bridge that gap? And that's where we moved it online. And
for sure.
Unless there's something physical we have to do, which it's not very often, I always tell people I can get you better from where you're at. And then if there is something that needs a hand or a person, let's find someone in your area real quick and we can get that taken care of.
Absolutely. No, I love it. And I think it's really, you kind of always try to look for a silver lining in things that happen. And I think that's one of the major ones I think that we could see from all this going on is just the ability now to understand, use technology to reach so many more people and do so much more good. Like me being able to help businesses start or kind of level up, and you being able to help people with their immune system, with their health, like from around the world. Like,
well, think what you do. It's like back in the day, you would have to set up a meeting face to face. And it's like, if I had an issue and I'm like, Chris, something's happening with my business, I want to be able to call you or see you right away. Right. And same thing when people with me, they're like, back in the day, it's like, hey, we'll get you in 3 weeks or 6 weeks. And they're like, I can't wait 3 weeks.
No.
Now they can call me on Zoom instantly. And it's like, hey, doc, what do I do? Versus having to schedule an appointment and wait that way. It's way more streamlined, way faster.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I think it's going to, like, necessity is the mother of all invention. Right. And so like, I'm more excited to see also what continues to come out of all this, because it will. And so, so how do you, do you notice any challenges? I know obviously you said if there's things that you can't necessarily fix or help over or virtually, you have to send them off. Is there anything else that you kind of saw starting out, at least online?
Most of it was more from like a business perspective, like making people understand that it's okay to do things online. But now it's like, it's very rare where I have to send someone out to another provider, very rare. And I'm talking like, this could be something like ozone therapy or something specific like that. Otherwise, we're at a point right now where everything, it's done from home. So I would say the hardest part is just making people feel comfortable that, you can do this from your house, from your office, from the driver's seat, which is right here.
Yeah.
You don't have to have that face to face, and there's a better way. Essentially, that was the hardest thing, is teaching people the better way.
Yep, man, trying to pivot people's mindsets on things and like let them open up a little bit more to new. That's hard. It's so hard. Go ahead.
I was gonna say it's a generational thing too. I noticed that the older the clientels are, the more they're kind of locked in their way, which is not a bad thing, but they're like, how do you do Zoom? What is that? And then I want to go see my doctor, and it's like, this is 21st century. It's like, I can see you from your house. You don't have to take the time anymore. And it's like when your grandma gets an iPhone and they're like, how do you use that? But then once they use it, they're FaceTiming you all the time. Same thing. Once people get hooked on this, they're like, I had a guy yesterday, he was like, this is amazing. Like, this is the most comprehensive care I've ever had. And I've been going to doctors my whole life. Like, why isn't this more widely known? And it's going to get more widely known as we go on. So
it opens up so much more, but we could go on and on, I'm sure, about that. But I'm excited. I really am excited. So I got introduced to like the biohacking realm with Dave Asprey.
Yep.
And I'm sure, you know Dave Asprey. If you guys don't know Dave Asprey, he has Bulletproof Radio, Bulletproof Coffee, things like that. You can always check him out. So that's what got me introduced to biohacking, and so I'm excited to talk to you about that for our immune system.
Yep.
But first off, for people who might not know, what is the immune system? What does it even do?
Right. So the immune system, it's the easiest way to look at it is it's an interactive network inside of your body that protects you from, viruses, bacteria, just normal day-to-day life. That's the easiest way to look at it. And what it does is, without you having to say, hey, turn on, it'll start neutralizing things in your body that aren't supposed to be there. And so it'll leave all your healthy cells and everything intact, and it'll try to get rid of all the other things that are not meant to be in there. And so it's like I always call it's like a protective shield. But once you start to breach that shield, that's when we can start to have performance issues or health issues. Easiest way to think of it.
No, perfect. Yeah, layman's terms is always good. So, so where do you recommend people starting? Do they have to like know something about their biometrics? Like, do they just look at their nutrition? Where do you have people usually start?
I always say if you're alive right now, you're probably going to have some type of immune system compromise.
Okay.
Because we are, as technology goes on, it's great, but we're being more exposed to more and more things on a daily basis than we've ever been. So I think on average, like 132 chemicals a day that we've never been exposed to. We have just things all around us that we don't even know about. The first place to start, biometrics is good. I would say self-assessment. Do you feel like yourself? Do you have the same level of energy that you used to? How does your body digest foods? Like, do you feel like do you feel bad after you eat foods? Do you have allergies, asthma? Do you have muscle fatigue, tiredness, brain fogs? A lot of people have brain fog, or just energy issues. That's when I would first look into the immune system, because like I said, it's that protective shield, right? But people are like, oh, it just helps you with sickness. And it's like, no, it helps you with much more than that, because once this is compromised, then everything else is compromised. So if you don't seal this back up, then it doesn't really matter how much energy drinks you take or, anything else that you do, you're going to not have the energy, you're going to have bloating, gas, all this stuff that they think is like, oh, it's because my stomach. It's like, no, it starts here, this immune system.
That's awesome. And so, and I'm sure, man, I just think myself, like I have seasonal allergies. So would you say seasonal allergies are from a compromise in the immune system, or is that just how we're made?
Right. I like to use functionality. If Chris, you're functioning at 100%, would you have seasonal allergies? Probably not.
Right.
A lot of times there is a small percentage of population where they have like a massive allergy to something, where they like a peanut allergy, let's call it that. If we clean out their body enough, could that get better? Yeah, absolutely. Will they still have it? Probably. Yeah, because it's more due to like a genetic type of issue.
Gotcha.
But for seasonal allergies and regular allergies, one of my clients who's had bad allergies every year in Texas, this is the first year and it's only seasonal, right? It's the first year where she hasn't really had any allergic reactions. because allergies are due to a weakened immune system
Right.
and compromises in other areas of the body. And so the moment your body is exposed to that,
Yep.
it happens.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm in Indiana now, but I also lived in Texas for a while.
Mhm.
Both times in the same time, I always get the same thing, symptoms, stuffed up nose for a couple days, and
Yeah.
so I hit the natural honey and chicory root, moringa stuff a lot more, and so no, that's okay. So there's something deficient, especially and oh man, I hear brain fog a lot too.
Yeah.
So do you think, is there an underlying issue with the immune system that can cause all of these, or they're different specific issues?
Well, yeah. So it's when the immune system can no longer do its purpose.
Okay.
So let's say a lot of times people have parasites they don't know about. That's a
Okay.
big one. If your immune system can't balance that out, because we're all going to have some level of viruses and just overload in our system. But what the immune system does is it keeps it into this like line. Once it falls outside of that, though, then that's when we have problems. And so it's more or less addressing those other hidden things like parasites and some other things that I mentioned versus trying to boost the immune system. Because if you're trying to boost a broken system, you'll get some results, but you still got to go back to the cause of why. Like for you, seasonal allergies, brain fog. You could try to change the gut and try to change some of the foods and time your foods in a certain way, but if you don't go back and fix that breach, because the immune system will help counteract a lot of that, then you're only going to get to here when you should be all the way up here.
Okay. So it's almost like putting a Band-Aid on something that's just oozing out. Okay. So how do you suggest people start, I guess, strengthening the immune system now, or getting rid of the deficiencies now for later there aren't any issues?
Most of the time I tell people you should probably start working into your gut, because that's where your immune system is housed anyways. The amount of food that we eat, how bad it really is now. And then people are like, I eat organic. And I'm like, that's great, but organic means nothing now. Unless it's like grown by you or, we don't really know. That's the scary part. Like I go to the store and I assume it's organic. But if it's not grown in mineral, soil or anything like that, it's just, you're going to have an organic depleted food. Yeah. And so the best place to start is to just know that you most likely have an immune system compromise. Is it going to affect you today? No. It's more, it's the down the road thing that we're more concerned about. The first step is, how do we start counteracting it? Well, let's start working into the stomach where it's housed. Okay. So first thing I always look at, what are we putting into the body? Right. What's our environment in our surroundings? What are we consistently around EMFs and computers and chemicals and pesticides? I had a client that was under power lines, like by a power line place. And she's like, I just don't feel good. And they moved and instantly they felt better, because there's a whole invisible universe that we don't see, and it's how much of that are we constantly being exposed to, which is causing our immune system to just go crazy.
So you think the EMS, the computers, the radio waves, all that play a big part?
Yeah, I mean, because your body works as a unit, right? And so your immune system's like that shell, it's that protective shell, but your body works synergistically. And so if you're constantly bombarding it, you're making your brain tired, then you're eating the bad foods, you're overstimulating your eyes, your immune system can't counteract things anymore. And so it's just like, okay, it puts its hands up and just lets everything else go to crap. And then you have to constantly go back and try to fix it.
Okay, interesting. And I'm curious your opinion on, and it's kind of a little off topic, but it has to do with DMS, the 5G.
Yeah.
Do you think 5G is going to cause more cancer or do you think it is a viable issue?
Yeah, right. I'll put it like this. I had an internet provider service come to my house. I'm not going to say who it was. Okay. And the technician came in and installed my internet. And we were talking about 5G, and he had one of his friends that had to work on a 5G tower, and let's just say it didn't go very well. So I think there's benefits, obviously, because faster speeds, whatever. Right. But to say that there's not going to be any issues with it, that's just being blind and dumb. I don't know what they're going to be. but I mean, 5G and 4G, they are a type of radiation, right?
Yeah.
So just because we can't see it doesn't mean it's going to be a problem. But just from that guy, the technician got burned, right, from it. And it's like, okay, if it's supposed to be healthy, it shouldn't do anything to you.
Right.
So I think there's pros and cons to it. I believe that people should just be careful, just because, like everything, we're always last to the race. We always figure out 10 years, whoa, we probably shouldn't have done this, or smoking is bad, but back in the day, smoking was good.
Right.
We need to be more cautious. And the good thing with technology is we typically will figure that out quicker, because people will speak up and they'll be like, no, I'm not doing this. So something that would have taken 10 years is going to be compacted down into maybe a year, because it's going to come out very quickly.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was just curious because I hear both sides and all that. So no, I agree. I think it has pros and cons, definitely. And so so working the gut, so understanding that there's a deficiency or a lack there, and how to counteract it. So what we put in our body and then our environment where we are at.
Right.
So what are there certain paths that you have people take to put better things in? Is it just nutrition or supplements, macronutrients, things like that?
Right. So in my like 5-step program, there's always everyone is exposed to certain things, and most of the time it's kind of weird. We all tend to have the same issues in a way,
but
exhibit different symptoms, if that makes sense. So you and I could both have parasites, but what you have happen to your body is different than mine, but we're both exposed to parasites, because we're all a little bit different. And so the first thing that we always look at, which now they have huge summits, is parasites, like how it can shut down your immune system. Then it can lead to you developing cancers. It can, parasites can cause allergies, immune system issues, joint issues, bloating, gas, fatigue, brain fog, just from that. And it shuts down your immune system. So we always look at that area first. And then we look into like mold. We've been exposed to mold, but we don't know. Then we look at infections. So that could be like bacterial, viral, candida is a big one. Candida yeast. So then we look at the infections. And then from there, heavy metals. We're all exposed to putting all these things on our body, and we're like, oh, it's not going to do anything to us. Well, Johnson & Johnson's now getting sued for, another product, because when you put it on our body, our skin is our biggest organ. So heavy metals. And then what is it? Juul, like, oh, there's heavy metals in your smoke. And then the last thing is like mitochondria and hormones. If you address all those areas, food sensitivities, allergies, asthmas, immune system compromises, all that will disappear, because you're essentially addressing all the major pillars to why people develop health issues.
Okay. No, and that's key. And it's like you don't think about the things I don't know, there's so much, like candles, the lotion, like you don't think about what's all in those that you're then inhaling or you're having go transdermally. And so I guess, where do we even start? Like, where do we even begin protecting ourselves or trying to change this scenario?
Yeah. So, the first thing is to just understand you have something going on, whether you feel it or not. From there, I like to just work into the stomach, unless I'm going into that 5-step approach with someone. I go straight for the stomach. So, vitamin D is always a big one. It's huge, talked about right now. You can call it a biohack, you can not call it one, but it is. It's really important. It's a good foundational thing everyone should be on.
So you're saying people don't have enough vitamin D?
Yeah, most of the time, either people they take it and they don't know how to dose it, so it's wasted, or they take it from an improper source. So a lot of times people are like, I'm just going to go on Amazon and buy vitamin D. And it's like, well, I know right now there's a lot of supplement companies that have class action lawsuits against them because they don't have the quality and purity in there that they say they do, even though it says it on the label.
Gotcha.
So knowing exactly where you're getting your products from is probably the most important thing, and then taking the right amount. And then so vitamin D would be a good one to start with.
Gotcha.
For most immune system compromises, colostrum and glutamine are really good things to help seal up that leaky gut. We're talking about, which can cause a whole host of issues, immune system issues, you name it.
And are those are both colostrum and glutamine? Those are what exactly?
Colostrum is, think of it like breast milk. That's colostrum from there. It's you don't have to get it from breast milk, but they can get it from other sources.
Okay.
That's just going to help reduce the inflammation, the cytokines, and help seal up that leaky gut in there.
Okay.
It's a supplement, powder supplement. They also have glutamine, which is another supplement which helps many different things, helps seal up that gut lining, helps calm down the stomach. A lot of our health issues are starting from our stomach and then working their way out. And so those are two big ones that everyone can do daily. I call it a biohack because if you do it right for long enough, it can really transform your health. Because you can take things like you were saying, honey and elderberry and all that great stuff, but that's superficial. That's
still like a Band-Aid.
This part,
Okay, so it's almost like when people take like the NyQuil, DayQuil, it's basically just attacking the symptoms,
right,
instead of the underlying issue. Okay, same thing with the honey and elderberry. Gotcha.
Right. Yeah, I mean, probably the first step would be, you know, I guess I could send out a questionnaire, but it's like answering questions that make you understand that maybe there's a problem, and understanding that versus, we all have our own symptoms, but understanding that there's a cause to them.
Gotcha.
Instead of trying to treat these like everyone's like, how do you biohack an immune system? Well, would we have to biohack an immune system if it was working properly? No.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
True.
So it's like you can go here, like Dave Asprey, which is always great. But if you look at his regimen, he's really healthy and he knows that he's already addressed this. But sales happen here. So products and sales happen here. We got to get here because then the immune system will stay healthy for a long run. I would say address the cause of their problem and figure out what that is, whether that's, through research or no different than someone reaching out to you for business help. Reach out to someone who has expertise in that field because it will save you significant amount of money that you'll just waste on things that you don't even know how you're doing.
For sure. Yeah. You just kind of fall in, and I'm guilty. I mean, I'm guilty of it too. I've done that and fallen. And so where would you suggest people go to get like a good, safe vitamin D supplement or colostrum or glutamine? Where would
there's I like a company called Zymogen. It's a practitioner grade one. I just know the people there and they make pretty good quality products. There's a couple other ones I can send in some show notes with you or something like that. But I tend to just go with those because their products are constantly tested. Whereas, a big problem on Amazon, it's like, oh, I'm buying from this company. It's like, are you really though? Because I've seen so many lawsuits happen where they put random labels on there. And so knowing a good source to get them from, which we can provide that for people, would be the first thing.
Cool. So I think that's huge because knowing, or at least the best, knowing the best, what's in it is huge. So attacking the gut is basically the key place to start after like figuring out where your deficiencies might truly be.
Well, the gut, so when I say the gut, it's like if you can handle all the infections that are in there that everyone has, seal up that gut, you're going to fix 75% of your issues. That's how easy it really is. From there, your brain fog could disappear. All the energy could go back up. And I'm just giving you one small focus.
Okay.
Work into those other pillars that I talked about, which most people don't know how to do, but that's why you find someone. Then you can achieve that ultimate vitality and performance, which is, whatever you're seeking at that time.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Gut infections, parasites is a big one. Dr. Hilda Clark has a basic parasite cleanse that people can do.
Okay.
Addressing those things will make you feel 50% better most of the time.
If people are wanting to try this and they're not like going after Dr. Clark's or your process and they just want to do like fasting or intermittent fasting, does that help in a way still?
Yeah. So I use a lot of fasting in my practice. Cool. It's kind of hit or miss as far as some people say the longer you fast, it's going to compromise your immune system. But absolutely. We use a lot of fasting. Is it going to heal everything quickly? No, but it can help you with the gut. It can help with like insulin resistance and just energy. So my favorite length of a fast is 3 days, 72 hours. Through all the research that we've done through our team, we found that 3 days gets you all the benefits.
Okay.
So it can start stimulating the immune system, stem cells, weight loss. 5 days is really good too. So I always say 3 to 5 days.
And that's complete fasting all day, except
that's like water.
Okay.
You could do sparkling water.
Okay.
No bone.
Did that fit in that or no? If there's no added coffee, if there's no additive?
You could do black coffee.
Okay.
I know some people, I know Dave Asprey's like, well, we've tested bulletproof coffee and it doesn't do anything. I'd rather just be safe and say black coffee.
Yeah. That's how I drink mine. So
Yeah, that's how I do mine. Bone broth, I don't do. People say you could do bone broth. I'm like,
okay.
I want it to be as natural as possible. So coffee, water, sparkling water, and then like an electrolyte concoction. So maybe some salt.
Okay.
Some salt. So the electrolytes that your body loses when you fast, you got to put that in there. So when you try to do a 3 to 5 day fast, I just had a gentleman to finish 10 days easy, but he tried to do one years ago by himself. He ended up with Bell's palsy at the end of it.
Oh, geez.
He didn't know how to do it. And
Yeah.
there's a special drink that as you get further along in the fast, if you know how to drink that, just like it brings your load down as far as detoxification,
Okay.
fatigue cramps, all that stuff.
Wow. And that's something people can make on their own?
Oh yeah. All you need is a little bit of Epsom salt, which gives you magnesium.
Okay.
You know, a little bit of pink salt, which gives you the minerals and the sodium.
Uh-huh.
And then a little bit of baking. What am I looking for?
Baking soda?
Yeah, baking soda. That's what we're looking for. That's all you really need. Some people use chloride, so you can get potassium chloride from no salt, or you can just buy potassium chloride for the chloride aspect and potassium. Then you get the sodium for the from the salt. But honestly, the easiest way is just a little bit of salt. Yeah, a little bit of salt and a little bit of Epsom salt. Make sure it's food grade, and get a pinch of both and put it into like 2 liters of water, and just that through the day when you're fasting. Electrolytes, your body needs electrolytes more than we know. Just like the most important supplement that I could ever make anyone take would be minerals.
Yeah.
It's a basic foundation thing that everyone is deficient on, but no one takes.
That's true.
And it's what charges the cells. Your cells have charge, and so minerals charge that. It's a very basic thing that everyone should be on, is some type of mineral supplement.
Okay. And is that like a combination of minerals?
Yeah, so they have like the fulvic trace minerals is a good one.
Okay.
That would probably be the king of biohacks right now, because research.
What was it called?
It's called fulvic trace.
Okay.
Fulvic. Yeah. We're starting to find that is one of the foundational key things that everyone needs to attain proper health. That would be the master biohack. Now, are you going to feel it as far as some of Dave Asprey stuff? No, but from a long-term health standpoint, absolutely. You're going to notice a big difference.
And that can be bought.
You can buy that on Amazon. So there are a couple companies out there who I've called who they are the ones who are selling the product on Amazon.
Okay.
But yeah, absolutely. I've noticed some big changes from that.
That's awesome. So it's not like you're having to take 30,000 pills and do all this stuff. Like a lot of people think, I have to take so many vitamins and minerals. And
literally, I was going to biohack an immune system and also fix some other areas while we're at it, and I'm not working with them directly, I would say utilize fasting like you and I talked about.
Yeah.
And then the colostrum and L-glutamine.
Okay.
And some trace minerals with a vitamin D. So that's 4 things.
Okay. Yeah, that's not bad. I mean, 4 things. And with that, you'd want people still to try to start fixing or changing their nutritional habits, I'm sure.
Right. Yeah. I mean, try to eat organic and try to eat as healthy as possible, but we're all different. So there's not going to be a magic diet.
Right.
And if you're utilizing fasting properly, it gives you more leeway on the diet.
Mm-hmm.
I always tell people eat less often.
Yeah.
Don't eat less. Right. Because people tend to eat less. So low cal, but they do it more often and it compromises their body. And I'm like, just eat less.
Yeah.
Often, right.
Yeah.
So fast. And I think if you do those things that I talked about with that, I mean, you can get a massive change, not only in your immune system, your stomach, your well-being, your energy. The only problem is that people have to know how to, number one, fast.
Right.
You dose out the stuff properly. And that's where the barrier is like, how much do you take? Because you can just take what they tell you on the bottle, and it's like, that's not going to do you any good. You got to know how much to take. But
so how do people know? How do they know what vitamin D or colostrum?
You can do some research. There's some good websites that tell you. People reach out to me sometimes and ask me. We have some Facebook groups too that's like private where they pay to be in that and ask a million questions, and we answer them for them.
Yeah.
But if you get the glutamine and the colostrum dosed outright, it's a game changer.
That's awesome.
Minerals is easy. You can just follow the dosage on the bottle. And then fasting, it's recommended that you work with someone because you can develop issues if you don't know how to do it right. Or, coming out of the fast is the most important thing.
Yeah.
And people don't even know how to come out of a fast.
Okay. How are you supposed to come out of the fast?
So typically after, 1 or 2 days is not too big of a deal.
Right.
Once you start getting 2+ days, it's that small meal after, maybe
Okay.
some berries and some salmon, something just very basic that the body can handle.
Okay.
Like cooked veggies, like something very simple.
Yeah.
But only like 800 to 1,000 calories.
Okay.
So, the guy that just finished a 10-day fast with me, the first day after he was done, we did 1,000-calorie meal, which was just like I told you. Then the second day we did like maybe a little bit of like cheese and a little bit of meat and some other things, but still like 1,200 calories.
Okay.
And the third day after, we went back to normal eating.
Okay.
That will allow you to come out of it properly, not feel bad, not cause any other health issues. Because the longer you fast and the improper way you come out of it, it can drastically affect your health. And it sounds so simple while you're doing it, but it's the most important thing is coming out.
Okay. No, that's good to know. And that's a different process than, say, if you're just doing the 8/16 fast or whatever, right?
You don't have to do anything.
Okay.
24-hour fast, don't really have to do anything.
Okay.
Even alternate day fasting, don't really have to do anything.
Okay.
Once you hit that 3-day mark, you could probably, I could get away with not really doing much because I'm used to it.
Mhm.
But for someone who's just beginning their journey into health,
Yeah.
I would say at least have one day after where you just go real slow and introduce basic things back in.
Okay.
Not go eat a whole thing of pizza.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense. So, no, that's good to know, especially if someone's trying to get into a longer fasting period.
Yeah.
Now, and so I do have a question, because you did say the vitamin D, colostrum, glutamine, the trace minerals, and then fasting. What do you say, or what are your thoughts on people taking probiotics?
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah.
I like them.
Yeah.
Is it required? No, it's not
Right.
required to be healthy. I haven't taken probiotics for a while. I kind of go on and off them.
Mm.
If you get a good high quality one and variation,
Yeah.
it's helpful.
What about just Greek yogurt? Isn't that enough?
Yeah, right.
No,
There's some strands in there, right?
Yeah.
You got the fermented vegetables and things like that. I would say as long as you're doing something like that, you're probably okay.
Gotcha.
Sometimes people can cause more issues with probiotics than fixing the issues. But at the end of the day, when you're doing probiotics for a long period of time, you need to have the variation. So you need to have different strands, and it doesn't have to necessarily be high dose. So there's like 10 to 20 billion is a good daily one.
Okay.
But a lot of times people are like, I got to take 50 to 100 billion every day. And it's like, no, unless you're addressing a health concern in the stomach, that's the only time you'd need that much.
Okay.
And then after that, you can either do like sauerkraut, fermented foods, Greek yogurts, Bulgarian yogurts, things like that. That will help you on a daily. But I push people away from probiotics just unless they know how to use them and unless they're on a diverse selection of them.
Yeah. Okay, cool. No, I know that's a big topic sometimes. And
research has been showing that they're not, as beneficial as some would say. That's why I only use them in a specific phase of my program. And then I leave it up to them as like, okay, here's a good daily one.
Mhm.
But I'd rather you do these things first.
Yeah.
And then add that in if you can. If you can't, do these other ones first because they're going to keep you healthier longer than, you could add in sauerkraut and a lot of these other things that will provide you different types of.
Yeah. Awesome. No, I love it. That's so much good information. So guys, starting out, like thinking of fasting, but make sure you're getting good plan, especially if you're doing a longer one, to come out of it, being super important.
Yep.
Trace minerals,
Yep.
vitamin D,
Yep.
colostrum and glutamine, and make sure those dosage vitamin D and colostrum and glutamine are right. And that'll really start helping you get a good control of your gut, which then will help get that immune going.
Well, yeah, and plus with the fasting, it'll help activate that immune system. And so that's like the most comprehensive, basic way to actually biohack an immune system on your own. Okay. There's more high-level things you can do.
Right.
Absolutely. But fasting's free. So eat some proper foods, eat some organic foods and do the fasting and do that stuff. You'll kick 75% or more of your stuff.
Well, what are people like? So I know, like I'm a skinnier guy. People, and I don't believe this, but if I fast, I'm going to lose a bunch of weight and like, yeah,
Right.
all this. Like, isn't it shown that you can actually gain healthier weight and muscle by fasting?
Yeah. So the misconception is the skinnier you are, you shouldn't fast. You can do, I would agree with that in one way.
Okay.
One way is that I would not do like a 5-day fast
Okay.
more than maybe 2 to 4 times a year.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But in general, intermittent fasting, that's perfectly fine. But what you said, yeah, is true. When you fast for 5 days, it's got to be 5 though. What it's gonna do. It's gonna tear away all the bad tissue that's built up in there. So when you think of our body, think of it in terms of recovery and functionality.
Yeah.
Right? That's how we're healthy. If we can recover from things, or if we can function at the highest level. What happens is we build up these bad tissues in our organs and in our muscles. Our body can no longer function or recover. What fasting does is it strips all that away.
Yeah.
And then stem cells will come in, right? Because you get to that 5-day, you get that massive increase in stem cells, and you don't have to pay the 30 grand or whatever to do stem cells. It'll lay that brand new network over the next, 15 to 30 days after that fast. And then typically what happens is that you get stronger 30 days later, you get leaner, and you actually get a little bigger because that muscle tissue that wasn't recovering anymore is now replaced with something that can recover, which means it's going to get bigger and stronger.
Yeah.
Same thing with the organs. When you do fasting, it's replenishing and replacing those organs. So the ones that weren't functioning as well 30 days ago are now functioning at a higher level.
Yeah. And I just find it so interesting, especially like the 5-day and the stem cells and like just the research people are doing about how it can help overcome like autoimmune disease and cancers and things like that because of like the free radicals and all that. And I just think it's fascinating. I think the body's fascinating. I think it was created amazingly for us to be able to do things like this.
Right. Well, it's things that we've always known to do, but for some reason we've lost it.
Yeah.
It's like back in the day in the different cultures, the master medical woman had all the ways to help heal people, and it's like we've just lost those ways because we want the quick and easy.
Yes.
We don't want anything that requires work because it's like, why?
Right.
And the moment you take them out of that quick and easy and just say, if you can just do some of these long-term things, it does get easier. You perform better. Your business gets better. Like everyone I work with, I'm like, dude, you're here. Do you want to grow your business to here? You got to take care of your health. Tony Robbins spends a whole day talking about health. There's no way he could do what he did or does if he didn't take care of his health. And he spends thousands of dollars a month
for sure,
because that's what makes you perform better.
Yeah, that's why one of my pillars is health, because health is wealth. If we're not healthy, then we're not going to be able to do like much at all. And so,
Steve Jobs, I always tell people, dude, millionaire. What is he doing now? He can't take that money with him. If you invest in your health now, it's going to pay you back tenfold, not only in your life, your business, your relationships, spirituality, you name it, it's going to be there.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so important. So, Dr. Fox, I appreciate you so much.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
By and sharing all this. It's amazing. And things like people in business, people in everyday life really don't necessarily always think about it because we're so busy and we go with the flow, but just these right here, these 4 simple things that we can start doing daily.
People like they call me back and they're like, dude, this worked perfectly. Like, it's something that can be there's so much stuff out there, so much information. Just apply those couple things and you'll see a transformation happen.
Absolutely. So again, we appreciate it. I do ask one question before the guests head out. The 5th trait of Pencil leadership is that we're all created to leave our mark on the world. And so when everything is said and done for you here, what do you hope your mark is?
The main thing I want to leave is just love and compassion for people. I've had a lot of stories where I've helped people repair their health, and it sounds silly, but it's saved marriages. It's saved relationships with kids. I just want to be left and leave a mark of like, what I did helped fix their family and their future, and that way they can do that for the same person.
That's awesome. I love it. I love it so much. So thank you for sharing that. And I think you're doing just that. So, which is awesome. Real quick, where can people find you, connect with you? Yeah,
they can go to drwesfox.com is the easiest way to just, you can find me on there, find articles, Facebook group, just Dr. Wes Fox or Dr. Wesley Fox, one of those. They can reach out there as well. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Cool, guys. Yeah, definitely reach out, connect, just continue to learn more about your body and how to just biohack that immune system to live a healthier and more fulfilled life. So
And I'll
again,
have a questionnaire on there too. I meant to tell you. Yeah, we're launching a thing called "So You Think You're Healthy," because everyone thinks they're healthy.
nice.
There's going to be some questionnaires that people can take off the
Oh,
website,
cool.
and it'll give them a grade as far as are they really healthy where they want to be, and then action steps that they can start doing.
Oh, that's awesome. Perfect. Yeah, you guys got to check that out for sure. I'm sure we'd all be surprised after taking that questionnaire. So,
Right.
but again, thank you, Dr. Fox, for being here. Guys, if you like this episode, share it on your Facebook page, go like it on YouTube, whatever it is. Subscribe to the show wherever you listen to podcasts. That helps us get this message out to more people. So we appreciate you guys all listening, and let's go out and be pencil leaders.
Awesome.